Right. Quick little bonus from where we left off on part one, where I was talking about how to avoid smearing in the square here. I'm going to show you how to avoid that. Okay. There's just a little bit of smearing. Once you see this smearing, what you want to do is you want to grab some masking tape. Okay, and put that right on the back of the screen, right on the image. All right, press it down a little bit, rip it right off, and make sure you do the whole image. If you don't do that, when you go to print again, all right, even if you you fix your pressure issues, if you don't clean the back of your screen, you'll see a little haze on the next shirt, and you don't want that. You want to start off as clean as you possibly can. So you want to clean the back of your screen, okay, and then we're gonna move this squeegee height, not the pressure. We're moving the squeegee height, and we're gonna move it halfway, and that's how you do that. Okay. And then the very next shirt you print will be absolutely clean. All right, you see that? Yep. Definitely a lot cleaner. All right, and that's how the Remarks job went for those stubborn long sleeves. All right, now. Automech here. We are continuing with our schedule. We got this pocket job. This was run right after those long sleeves. Okay, we got the pocket job, and you want to go ahead and do your pocket. If that's your order, you got sleeves in a pocket, you do your pocket after your sleeves. Because you have to run pockets on sleeve pallets. All right. And this setup in particular took a little while because our ink wasn't ready. We have a resident ink mixer, and he was given the wrong information on which ink to mix. So that's what took us a little while. Something like this where there's no underbase and the colors don't touch, this should take absolutely no time. I mean, and you see here my test print. This was my only test print actually. I sent it around one time and it was dead on. And if our ink was ready like it should have been, and like it always is, this is no fault of our ink mixer. There was some miscommunication between he and the owner. So yeah, it was actually the owner's fault, as usual. When in doubt, you blame the owner or the screen room. Nobody else does anything wrong. Only the owner in the screen room, right? So here I am setting up the pocket. All right. And you take your lasers, you put it over your image, and then you can go ahead and size it up to your pocket, make sure everything is good there. All right. And everything looks good to me right there. All right. Typically, you really gotta, with these pocket jobs, you have to make sure, because sometimes the art on the screen is burned. The art on the screen for a pocket, sometimes they'll be burned in a left chest position or in a left chest height, not the left chest position, but the same height as a left chest. Okay, but directly in the center of the screen. So you have got to make sure that your pocket's going to line up. Otherwise, you're going to print all on the seam of the pocket seam, or completely miss it in some cases. Okay. All right. And we're double checking there. Double checking there. We got to get approval. That I like to make sure and flash the image before we go get it approved. We don't want any smearing on the shirt, or to get the manager, get him dirty. Okay. We don't want any ink stains to get on the manager or on the other part of the shirt. Okay. Right. Let's turn that around. And we double check everything. Oh yes. So we didn't take down the whites, right? That last job, the remarks job, it was a white flash, spot white flash green. We take down the green and we keep our whites up. And instead of taking it down, we go ahead and we tape off the complete image on the back side of the print. Okay. Because otherwise and we keep it up because we're about to use those white plates the very next job, so there's no need to take them down. And you want to tape it off because, see, the pockets, they're raised up a little bit, and you'll get some residue, so to speak, some ink residue from that screen. It'll end up on your shirts as you run. Okay, so you make sure, if you're going to keep your screens up, tape them off. Always tape them off. You can clean them off. Now, if we were running on adult pallets, maybe I would just clean them off. But really, I like to tape them off every single time, because anything can happen. Maybe you turn on the wrong head and it prints. Well, if there's tape on the backside of that screen, you won't get a misprint. You won't get that image on your shirt. Okay. And here I am loading these pockets and making sure that the top laser and the bottom laser are smack dab in the middle of that pocket. All right, every single time. This is just the best way to run them. I mean, when you're loading these things, when you're loading anything, you don't want to guess, especially when you don't have a lot of room to play with on a job like a pockets and hoodies. You don't want to play around with those. You want to keep your lasers up and make sure you're printing them in the proper place every single time. Now, here's the end of the job, and we are changing pallets. We're done with the sleeve pallets, and you see me there taking these off as the machine is going, as the job is ending. You don't have to do that. I do it just because, I like to get things done. I like to get the more mundane things over with as fast as I can. You know what I mean? So, just want to show the palette change there. Now it's time to start the joggers. We have some joggers. I've said this in my past videos. I like to print sweatpants, joggers, what have you. I like to print them on sleeve palettes, but the art image, the width of the art doesn't always allow that. The sleeve palettes are 4 inches, and I believe this job, the art width here was right at 4 inches, maybe, if I remember correctly. But let's say it is at the width is at 4 inches. You can't run them on the sleeve palettes. You're like the edge from either side of the print. It's not going to be completely on the palette. You're going to actually like print it off, and you'd be printing it wrong. So here I am putting on the 6-inch palettes. And the 6-inch pallets work. They work very well too with sweatpants and shorts and all that. Like I say, I prefer sleeve pallets when I can because there's more room to play with as far as the position of the image on your sweatpants or your shorts go. Okay, but the 6-inch pallets are they're cool. They're cool too, and you don't see these in a whole lot of shops. And there I am putting on a pallet upside down, like the genius that I am. Yeah, I think I probably realized that what I did. Let's get these pallets on there. Come on, Mac. Yeah, I realized what I had done. Went straight to it. Yeah, put it on right. Genius. All right, now it's time to line this up. I want to put the pallets in the right place, and I usually do an eye test. Like the top of the print. I want maybe a good inch of surface of palette. All right, from the top of the print to the edge of the palette. I want about an inch, maybe inch and a half. I don't want it right at the edge. Okay, you if the image is right at the edge of the palette, you can start to get a lot of buildup. Okay, and obviously we want to avoid that. Okay, so I give myself about an inch. I make sure there's at least an inch or so of surface area, and you'll see that in a minute once you actually see the print on the palette or on this shirt. Well, actually, that's a little bit more than an inch in it. Yeah, it's a little bit more than an inch. That looks like a full 2.5 inches. Yeah, shit, maybe even more. But you see the bottom, the top of that print where the chin is, that distance between that and the edge of the palette. All right. And I don't want to bring the palette out too much because that will affect my placement when I load. Okay. I want to be able to load these as best I can. All right. Okay, and there I am putting the lasers right on the image. Okay. And then you're gonna see where I'm putting these joggers. All right. All right. Yeah, don't forget that spray tack. And then, okay, yeah, my thumb is right in that pocket, right in there. And I walk it right up the palette, straighten it out. All right. And you see that image is going to be right below. It's going to be right below the pocket there, the pocket seam on your pants pocket. So if this were a taller image, I would have moved the image up a little bit more, closer to the pocket. But since it isn't, I brought the pocket down a little bit. All right. So on that shorter image, when the kids, when they put on their warm-ups, the image isn't too high up on them. It's a shorter image. So let's say they have on their long sleeve wicking shirts, or maybe even their hoodies. You don't want the bottom of the hoodie or the shirts to cover the image. So I have it down a little bit. But again, if it were a taller image, I would have moved it closer to the pocket. All right, so here we go. Time to do a live demo, and making sure that my cardboard down there is actually is actually keeping keeping those pants off of the floor. Right? So yeah, it's a nice little print, man. It's a nice little print, very good, a very good location. Happy with the location. Now it's time to get it approved. Get it approved and get ready to run. Okay, and we always have that cardboard down there whenever we run pants or sleeves. You don't want those dragging on the floor. We can't give our customers anything dirty. They pay good money for that stuff. And there I am. I told you I write these times down. I'm not making any of this up. Right. And this wasn't a very long run, but I'm not going to show the whole thing. It's very rare that I'll do a whole run. There might be times where I'll go ahead and like maybe do on a super long run. Maybe I can do that just, maybe for ASMR purposes or something. I can look into doing something like that. Okay. And I just want to show you guys a little example on how to load these. All right, keep your thumb right there in that pocket. It gives you really good control, like side to side control. All right, and then you want to pull. You want to fold the waist all the way up to make sure that everything is that your shorts are that your pants are actually straight on the pallet. Okay. Now we're done with the 6-inch pallets. Now it's time to get to the adult pallets, and then we'll be running adult pallets for the rest of the day. Now you see how that works. Sleeve pallets. I did the sleeve pallets, everything to do with the sleeve pallets. Then I went to the one with the 6-inch pallet. Okay. Now I can go to my adult pallets, and we run the adult pallets throughout the rest of the day, and we don't have to do any more pallet changes. And so you see, we kept that pocket print. We kept those screens up, okay, because there was a back to it. Now we switch them out for the back plate. All right, we didn't tear them down. We just taped off the back of those plates, the pocket plates, and now we're on to the back. You just gotta find ways to be as efficient to make this thing efficient. And I'm gonna say it a million more times. You know what I mean? Stop wasting time. Stop wasting your time in this job, in screen printing, in anything that has to do with production. Time is money. Okay, and we want to make. And the better times we have, the more money we make. And that's what this is about. All right? We all have bills to pay, yeah? Can't pay those bills if we're just lollygagging. Lollygagging is a word I've never said in my life. I don't know why I did that. This is Auto Mech, man. Part 2. We'll see you in part 3.